Hi, it's Nicole, and I've made this video maybe like 4 times now and kept deleting it because I think it goes on too long. So basically, this year I'm doing a no buy, low buy challenge. Just like everybody else and their grandma, I didn't intend to follow any trends or anything like that. I just happened to be, but everybody's doing it, so I guess we're all on the same wavelength. Now, the difference for me personally is that my main focus isn't necessarily to save money, although that would be great, and I really hope that that happens. My main aims here are intentionality, anti-capitalist principles, and having the items in my life justify why they are in my life. So I want to reinterrogate why I'm buying certain things, where I'm buying certain things from, and how and when I'm buying those things. As for rules, I feel like mine are pretty bog standard. I'll maybe put them on the screen or something. I've kind of given myself an out by saying I am allowed to make a purchase of something from my wish list if it goes on a massive sale and the item has been on my wish list for at least a month, ideally more. But I don't really plan on using that little out if at all possible. I want to use the things that I have, and this kind of goes hand in hand with my goal for the year of reading at least 10 books from my TBR. And I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, but I'm trying to use Everand and the libraries to listen to audiobooks of books that I have the physical copies for in my home to help me get through that TBR goal. I'll also put on the screen some of my exceptions that I have. One of them is anything that's like a health imperative. I got my conch piercing at the end of last year and I had to go back into town to get the bar downsized on it. I'm happy with spending on that because I don't want it to get infected. I don't want it to heal in a weird way. I'm gonna spend £10 to get that sorted out. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I don't really know how useful it is to go through like an itemized list of spending or anything like that. I don't know how interesting that is for other people. Personally, I feel like people's rules and exceptions are the most interesting and people's sort of conclusions. So something I noticed immediately is that it sucks to feel like January is when all of the sales are on and stuff, and if you have a wish list like I do of items that you might want, it feels like, oh man, that thing is on sale now. I maybe should take this time to buy that thing. It's been on my wish list for a while. However, when I think about it, it's probably a thing that I don't really need still, even though I want it. So I'm gonna just sit this one out because sales happen all the time. So there's gonna be other sales in future. I'm gonna sit this one out this one time. And exercise that patience a little bit more. Like everyone says, like, I think the waiting period really does make a big difference. Sometimes I don't generally find that I feel like I don't need the item anymore. I usually only put things on a wish list that I really do want or need. And one of those things for me that's been on my list for literal years has been getting a bike. I want a bike not just to get around and stuff, but I want to be able to like go on like biking trails and things like that. That seems really fun. I am not even a novice bike. Like, I've been on a bike 3 times. I learned as an adult how to ride. My partner taught me how to ride a bike. I've been on a bike I think maybe 3 times, and I think probably the amount of time would add up to being maybe 3 hours, if that, of time that I've been on a bike for. Maybe a little longer than that. But this is something that I really want to do. And being a beginner, I'm not like clued up on like bike stuff and what makes a good bike and all of that stuff. So I was thinking I probably should save up lots of money to get a new entry-level bike. That way I know there's no problems with it, and I get to feel like what a well-working bike is like, and it's not gonna like mess up and then I have to pay lots of money to figure out how to fix it or anything like that. However, after thinking more focusedly about this for a while, I decided that I'm not going to do that. I am going to get one secondhand. I'm going to just spend as much time as possible thinking about what exactly I want, accepting the fact that that might change later on after I've got the bike, and I'll just have to make do with it for as long as possible. And part of the thing that helped me out with that decision is that I know a few places in my general area where I can get bike repairs done for free. So I think it's worth getting a bike that's just the right size for me and then taking things from there. I think if it can be fixed for free, then there's nothing to lose and everything to gain by getting a secondhand bike that is going to cost me like a a sixth of the price of a new one, plus extra money for a helmet and elbow pads and knee pads, because I 100% am going to be one of those adults with like all the protective gear and stuff like that. I can't be, that's the only way that that's going to happen. I've been trying to decide whether or not this is a challenge that I would want to continue past March. I think the principles in general, absolutely, and specifically thinking about this in the context of anti-capitalism, absolutely. I think that our purchasing power is one of the few ways that we have to exert any kind of power on the system. So that's definitely something I will be continuing. However, a specific low buy, I'm not sure yet whether or not I will be continuing. I mean, I probably will be, but I think I'll have to see. I am vaguely aware that in May we've been invited to a wedding, and so, you know, that will disrupt things. And later in the year, our friends are visiting and we want to, you know, show them around, make sure they have a good time. And I think a lot of the things that we're going to be doing will be very low cost, but we'll probably be going on a trip somewhere not local to me. And so that will, you know, change the dynamic of some things. So, I mean, part of me wants to be doing the challenge during those times just to see what that's like, to try out this kind of challenge in naturally spendy times. Also, another part of me is like, is it rude to attend a wedding in like Converse? Because I don't have any fancy shoes, you know, but I do have some mint Converse, like as in mint colored Converse. Which I think could be really cute, but I don't know if that seems like rude to other people. But then I feel like, I don't know, my friends have invited me to this thing, so they must appreciate me as a person, and that's part of me as a person. So I don't know, there's a lot of thoughts. I think I'll probably mention more of those thoughts as things go along. I'm also aware that I can get really, really, really cheap, like fancy shoes, like secondhand and stuff. But it just seems like such a waste if I'm only gonna wear them like once, because, you know, we don't have a lot of fancy things that we go to, and I'm certainly not someone who wears heels, so I'd want them to be flat. But I'm like, when am I gonna wear these fancy flat shoes? You know, anyway, there's a lot of thoughts. But I think I'll have probably more fleshed out ideas about that closer to that time. I guess for now, instead of just like rambling on about stuff, I'm just gonna leave this here. Hopefully these videos will start to make more sense when they're kind of in conversation with each other as time goes on through this challenge. If you have any ideas about how to make this structured in a way that's more useful or insightful or interesting or whatever, please feel free to comment down below. And I also wonder if maybe it's worth giving more context somehow. Anyway, that's all I have for now, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.